Thank you for joining me. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Welcome to Beats and B-Sides. Gordo, what up? What up, what up, what up? Sound the alarm. On the ground is dying. Whoa, hey. It's actually ring the alarm, but you know. How's everybody doing tonight? This is Beats and B-Sides. We're gonna talk about the journey to AutoPilot tonight. I'm gonna go through some of my early production, talk about what, you know, really sparked me to kind of get on this path for this record. And yeah, man. I'm gonna try not to be in front of y'all for too long. Trying to let a few people get in the room. Good, although hazy. You hazy, Gareth? Gareth. Are you hazy? You guys hearing me okay and everything? Gotta make sure everything is popping for this episode. AutoPilot. Pre-orders will start next Friday. It is also Bandcamp Day, so it works out. I actually was gonna start pre-orders today, but I didn't get my t-shirts until a day ago. Also, my wife's grandmother's funeral was yesterday. So, you know. What up, Hugo? But yeah. So we're gonna get into autopilot. We're gonna start the journey. And tonight there's no verse of the week. I just want to kind of jump into this. The verse of the week that I wanted to do, I don't know it that well and I don't want to mess up too much. So I just figured, let's just jump in. So yeah, we're going to talk about the journey to autopilot today. And it's going to be interesting. I just want to kind of show you guys how I've gotten to the position where I can put this record out with confidence. And yeah. What's up, Amanda? How you doing? Yeah, so let's get into this. This is the wildest intro beat. Hey, man, it's actually, that beat is actually on my EP, my instrumental EP. What is that called? I got so much stuff I don't remember. The Beauty and Evolution is actually a beat from that project. But yeah, man, thanks everybody for, being in the house. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate you. So yeah, let's start this journey. So let's dive right in. Autopilot. Autopilot is a brainchild of an 18-year-old Illogic who had just finished recording Celestial Clockwork. Now, I didn't know it was going to be called Autopilot, but at that time, after I recorded Celestial Clockwork and figured it was going to be what it turned out to be, because me and Blueprint both knew that record was special. I told myself, and I didn't tell anybody else this at the time, I told myself that I will produce my last album. Now, don't worry, this is not my last album, but I always had in mind that I was going to produce an album of my own. And yeah, and it came to pass. Now, the thing is, I started making beats in 2016. Me and my dude, DJ Bombay, we were on the road, and I might have told this story before, but we were on the road, and this dude, we're in a hotel room after the show. This dude pulls out a 25-inch Apple monitor. He had one of those little compact computers, and sets it up on the little table in the hotel room and opens up Ableton and starts making beats. And I'm laying in the bed, just watching TV or something. I was probably a little tipsy from the evening. But, so I'm watching him and I'm like, yo, let me try it out. So my dude Bombay kind of showed me how to make beats and, really sparked it in me. I've always wanted to, but the equipment was always crazy. I always thought, learning how to use an MPC was not gonna be the easiest thing. So I didn't even get on that road. The rhyming was where I excelled at, and I wanted to make sure that I stayed where I excelled at. So, fast forward to this day, and Bombay showed me how to add the drums. The first beat I made was horrible. It was super bad. And I tried to find it, but I don't have it. I tried to find it so I could play it for you guys, but I don't have it. But yeah, it was really bad. So, that kind of sparked my interest. And at the time, I was using Cubase just mainly for recording and, just recording my vocals and, you know, mixing my vocals, but I had not yet tried to produce. So I'm like, okay, you know, let's try it. So when I came home, I think later that week, when I came home, I didn't have a controller yet. I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything, you know, that I have now to make beats. I just mainly had a setup only for the recording process. I had a mic, I had, you know, a computer, keyboard, all of that stuff. So I basically looked online, found some samples. I didn't have a record player yet either. I looked online, found some samples, and, you know, kind of threw them in my computer and figured out a way to chop up some drums and make a beat. And that process was super, super long and super daunting and crazy. And, but I made my first beat on my own. And right now I'm gonna play that beat for you guys. Like this is a journey from the beginning of my beat making and all the way through the process of, you know, me getting to the autopilot stage. So I'm gonna play you guys the first beat that I ever made on my own. And please, please, please don't laugh at me. All right, so this is the first beat that I ever made on my own, and it's off of Cubase. I made it on Cubase. And yeah, I didn't really know how to use it then, but yeah, here we go. It's like no real change-ups or anything. Like, it's not horrible. Yeah, so that's the first beat that I ever made on my own. The drums are like mixed horribly. It's like, I mean, you know, compared to what I make now, you know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, but I don't forget my beginnings. And this is something that I always tell cats: never delete, you know, anything if you can help it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still have pretty much every beat that I've ever made. I've never deleted one, even the bad ones. I've never gotten rid of them because I'm able to go back and see, you know, where I've come from. And yeah, like, that's the first beat that I ever made on my own. And, you know, it's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, and making that beat and just knowing, just, you know, finding the way to chop the samples up and, you know, all those little things with a mouse. I didn't, you know, like, yeah, Gordo, I know it's not horrible, but, you know, like, in comparison, I look back on that beat, and in comparison to where I am now, it's light years. And the funny thing is, you know, I started with that, and, you know, that's, a lot of producers don't start with anything, you know, that even sounds that okay. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad at it, but I know, you know, now what I'm capable of, and I know that I got a lot more time to go. But I'm gonna play y'all the second beat that I made. I'm gonna play a couple of my early beats, and then I'm gonna play some later beats, and we'll continue to talk about the autopilot journey. This is beat number 2. Now this one I really like, actually. I hate the drums though, but the samples weren't bad. Like, it's off beat. And this is the thing that I learned, like, during the process of making beats, is that it's not as easy as everybody made it look. You know what I'm saying? Like, timing, all of that stuff is very important. when you're making beats. And some of this was on beat, some of it wasn't, but I enjoyed creating it, and the time that it took to create it was pretty intense, because I chopped every sample by hand. I chopped all of the drums by hand, placed all of those on the computer screen in the places where they were supposed to go. I haven't listened to these beats in so long. Yeah, like even that bass line like was chopped up, and I had to place it in the correct places where it was supposed to go. And if you listen to that, it's like super offbeat in a lot of places. But you know, like I had to start out somewhere, and the thing that, you know, I was determined to get to a point where, you know, I could produce my own album, and produce my own songs. And, you know, I had to get to a point where I could see myself writing to my own production, and see myself, you know, actually creating something that I would deem usable. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it was it was an interesting journey to get to that point. And I'm gonna play beat number 3 really quick, and this is the best one out of the first 3 beats. It's actually, someone wanted to buy this, but the problem is I don't have this program anymore, and I couldn't recreate it to sound like it actually sounded when I made it the first time. So this is my 3rd beat, and just, you know, like, this definitely shows progress. In 3 beats shows a hell of a lot of progress. Thanks, Hugo. Yeah, that's beat number 3. So like, it's a hell of a lot of progress from beat number 1 to beat number 3. And honestly, I think it's more about the sample choice and me really starting to digitally dig and find, you know, sites that had sound kits, and really understanding what a sound kit was, and sites that had drum break kits and, you know, drum kits and things like that. So in that time frame, I did a lot of research, and I started to find where I could get better drums, where I could get iller samples. This was before I had a record player where I could sample records. So I used drum kits at first, and this was the first beat that I made, you know, with a drum kit, having access to good sounding sounds and good drums and 808 and things like that. So because I, you know, was brought up around some of the illest producers, at least in the underground that I know, you know, Blueprint, RJD2, Ill Poetic, DJ Prism, being around Blockhead, you know what I'm saying? Like, in my time of rapping, you know, being around Ant, like in my time of rapping, like I got to see some of the illest producers make beats and really watch their processes and really learn how things sound, that's a little reverse joint there. Learn how things are supposed to sound. And, so that's why the progress from beat 1 to beat 3 is so drastic. So in the process of making these beats, I'm like, there has to be an easier way. You know what I'm saying? Because I was I was chopping everything by hand. I was using my mouse. I didn't have a controller. I didn't have any of, the tools that a lot of cats use these days. So I convinced my wife, to allow me. First, I bought a laptop because this was all on a desktop computer. And first, I bought a laptop, and then I bought me a 25 key MIDI controller. And at the time, because I didn't know how to use it yet, I didn't really have the money. I found a torrent site and got FL Studio, Fruity Loops for those that don't know. So once I got that and I really started watching tutorials, I really started really paying attention to the things that I was using. I got me a record player as well, and I had a record collection, but I didn't have a record player yet. And I had inherited from my grandmother. She left me her record collection, so I had a bunch of soul records, and nothing to play them on. So I had to get me a record player. And once I got a record player and I got my FL Studio program, I started watching tutorials on YouTube, kind of learning how to use the program. And in that process, I started, it's crazy jump from 1 to 3, right? So in that process, learning how to make beats and, really experimenting, really finding drums, really learning how to do that, really like watching a lot of tutorials about how to EQ things and things like that. I, really dove in. And so next I'm going to play you guys the first beat that I actually made using my my MIDI controller and FL Studio, which is actually what I use now and what I made all the beats for AutoPilot on. Here we go. Now this is the first beat that I played all of these. This has a few samples in there, and I did all the drum programming and everything. I think this is the only sample that's in there, is those chords. This is beat number 5. See, around this time, I was really kind of learning what VSTs were. I never really understood what those were, virtual instruments. I'm really understanding that you can make drums sound certain ways, and understanding reverb and how it sounded on drums and things of that nature. So I started applying those things. I started applying those things to, my production style, and started kind of creating my own thing. And, for beat number 5, it's not bad. But I still hadn't, to this point, even though I'm only 5 beats in, I still hadn't made a beat that I felt was worthy enough for me to write rhymes to, that inspired me to get there. Because basically I started in, like I said, 2016, and I basically took, a lot of that time off of, writing rhymes to learn how to make beats. So, fast forward to beat number 8, and beat number 8 is actually the first beat that I made that I actually wrote a rhyme to and recorded. What up, Chad? What up, Chad? No, you didn't miss anything. you missed a couple things. I played like the first few beats that I ever made. But beat number 8 is actually the first beat that I made that I felt comfortable writing to. And I've played the song on here before, but this is actually the 8th beat that I made, and actually the first song that I recorded to a beat to my own production. And it is also on The Beauty and Evolution, and it's called Blank Eyes. And here it is. And this is all me playing. No samples in this.
Blank eyes, lifeless, drowning in the sunshine. I wonder what the why is. Constricted by the confines. The mind is such a lonely place. I was trapped for some time till I learned what to embrace and what to discard by the roadside. Beauty and abundance. We understand the challenges to keep a small circumference. If all it is balancing, then why haven't you done it? The high fly and the plummet from the pride. I'm humble but simply just an assembly of my climbs to the summit. A collection of dreams. I know the summit seems redundant. I'm just sowing my seeds. If you tired of running, I just openly bleed. I bring something to leave so the people believe. It's like I just wanna wake up so I can dream again. I just wanna wake up so I can dream again. I just wanna wake up so I can dream again. I just wanna wake up so I can dream again. Dream again. Dream again.
Now that's a sample there in this breakdown. Yeah, I'm not going to play the whole thing. But yeah, that was the first beat of mine that I made, that I wrote to, and that I actually, put out. That was my own production. So I continued to grind. I continued to work. And as I continued to make beats, I started to get to a point where I was making things that I really liked. And the thing that's interesting about AutoPilot is a lot of those beats were made in or around 2017. So they're still, in the early stages of my beat making. But I like those beats so much that, I had to write to them and create an album out of those. And even, playing the album for Blueprint at the time, he was telling me like, these are some of the best beats that you've made, and I would let him listen to everything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play you 2 songs that did not make the album. These are 2 songs that I did for AutoPilot originally, and later, after doing some, reshuffling and thinking about how the album sound and the cohesiveness of the record, I decided to take these songs off. So I'm going to play those for you. The first song is called What to Say. And this song is not on AutoPilot, but it was on the original version. You get some B-sides, beats and B-sides, you know what I'm saying? What else, Evan? What else we going to give them? You know what I mean? It's beats and B-sides. That's how we do. But so this is one of the songs that did not make AutoPilot. And again, it's one of my earlier beats. And it's called What to Say. And here we go.
I come from haunts of coot and hern. I make a sudden sally and sparkle out among the fern to bicker down a valley. By 30 hills I hurry down, or slip between the ridges. By 20 thorps, a little town, and 100 bridges. Till last by Philip's farm I flow to join the brimming river. For men may come and men may go, but I go on forever.
Cloaked in the delirium Some of today's traffic jams chock full of destiny, panic, and blinding fear. Choked up by tomorrow's phishing scams, followers following the filibustering for hours with no destination. Sinking into the depths of hand gestures as the culture's sign language, monetary off-putting, failure to devise a plan. Sifting through the headlines of today, the tsunamis look so beautiful in the nighttime glow. Leading laughter in the falter of the fray, spine-tingling gestures mingling with lost souls. Foundational breathing, sipping telegraph punch, pinky to the heavens, just hoping that lunch is unleavened. See, you'll never notice the damage until the crunch. I'm not sure of where to go, but I have a hunch, yet I don't know what to say. We remember our Facebook passwords, but can't recall the details of our first kiss unless pictured on Mylar balloons. But question if we're vital, and if our hearts are idle, are we doomed? Only notables hoping for a swoon. Button-up shirts and loafers aged a decade. Unfortunately, our portions are out of position and man-made. Limping towards the latter days with the moniker of the scatterbrain, posturing to obey. I was gonna say okay anyways, until I heard the mimicry echoing in the hallways. No time to stay silent or get violent in the town square, but down here there's no room for the cocky and know-it-all. I've never been prideful, but here's an eye full of spectacle, and you wonder why no one's respecting you. I still don't know what to say, but I know the games we play for amusement, underscoring the useless.
I chatter over stony ways in little sharps and trebles. I bubble into eddying bays, I babble on the pebbles. With many a curve my backside breadth by many a field and valley, and many a fairy fallen, set with willow weed and mallet. I chatter as I flow to join the brimming river, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever.
Yeah, so that was What to Say. That song did not make the album. I actually repurposed those lyrics for another project. But yeah, that song did not make the album. So, and that song, I really liked that song too, but it just did not go with the rest of the project. And I wanted every song to be a banger of some sorts, you know, whether it was a story, whether it was just me spitting, no matter what, I wanted every song to be a banger. And so, you know, in that, while I'm talking, I'm actually going to play a couple beats that I had used or that I had set aside for AutoPilot that actually didn't make the album either. And this is one of them. But yeah, this beat didn't get used either. But yeah, in the process of making all these beats and making all these songs, there was a few that, you know, just didn't fit. And I wanted to make sure that the album that I was putting out, you know, made a statement. And, you know, sometimes you gotta pick and choose. And, you know, even though that song was really dope, really dope actually, it just didn't work with what I was trying to put together. But this is one of the beats that I had set aside, and this beat is actually still open. I may use it again, or if anybody's interested, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and this beat is called Scooby Spooky, is what I called it. I'm not sure why. I think it's because of this breakdown that's coming up. But yeah, this beat didn't make the album either. But it's just it's just a beat. I didn't write to it. Yeah, Hugo, I actually did. I did start mixing entire songs in the process. In me doing my research of learning how to do production, I was also looking at tutorials about mixing as well, and learning how to mix my drums, learning how to mix, you know, my samples, learning how, you know, what exactly delay does, exactly, you know, learning what reverb actually does to the sound. So I would mix my beats, and I wouldn't just make them and let them sit. I would mix them in the process so I could get that practice and really learn how to do it. So yeah, this beat did not get used, and it is available. You know, let me know. You know what I'm saying? But so the next song that didn't make the album, and I actually think I played this one before as well. It's a song called "Moment," and actually, it's really crazy. Yeah, I love those drums too. I got to use those again. But it's really wild because it's a song that really kind of fits where we are, you know, in this what do you call it? This time of, you know, quote unquote injustice and all of this, you know, craziness that's going on with the police and with people getting killed, not only black people, just people in general, by the police. And it's a song called "Moment." And this is another song that did not make the AutoPilot album. And it's called "Moment." Here we go. And keep in mind, all of these beats are probably like beat 40 and under. Never worthless, some surprises come with curses. I'll keep all early beats. Eyes wide open, options, auction, focus, no denying. I'll keep climbing, though climbing changes. I've been patient, so I'm not waiting. The creation of this moment is timeless. Hope one day you'll find this peace.
There's something brewing just below the surface of the culture. Leaders and their feelings can't be shielded from the vultures. I've been watching, taking notes, hope one day we approach a place where every human can find comfort in their truth. Marching and protesting, cool, but what will happen after? Action is what's lacking in this moment that we've captured. Run your race with purpose because time is flying faster. Love with all your heart because there's nothing left to lose. Sacrifices never worthless, some surprises come with curses. I'll keep trying, eyes wide open, options, auction, focus, no denying. I'll keep climbing, though climbing changes. I've been patient, so I'm not waiting. The creation of this moment is timeless. Hope one day you'll find this peace.
Yeah, so that was "Moment." Another song that did not make the AutoPilot album that was created in the process. It was part of the original version of AutoPilot. And yeah, like I think I may just still put that song out and just throw it up on Spotify because it is, you know, so relevant to today. And the album AutoPilot, the title, the reason that I called it AutoPilot is because in the time of me creating this stuff, keep in mind, like I said before, all of these beats that I made for AutoPilot are, you know, I had probably maybe 50 beats to my name at the time that I had made. And in the time of selecting these and writing these songs, I kind of felt like a passenger more than the person driving. I felt like this was part of a destined piece of my life, which I believe all my life is destined, but I felt like this was what I was supposed to be doing, where I was supposed to be going. And, you know, the reason that the album cover actually looks the way it does is, you know, straight up because I felt like it was an out-of-body experience in me creating this record. I felt like, you know, God had his hand on me in the process of making this record, and I was kind of watching myself create these, you know, these beats and write these songs, and, you know, it again really felt like an out-of-body experience. Actually, another, you know, cool thing, this is, you know, because I took the photo for the album cover. this is actually the original photo that I took. I did the lighting and everything, and I actually took this photo myself for the album cover. And once I took it and I saw it, I was like, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is definitely it. So, and I hit my dude Illogic up. I sent it to him because he did the layout and everything for the album cover. And I hit him up and I was like, this is the photo. This is it. And okay, I'll put say the word out as well. But I told him this was it. So, you know, he basically hooked it up and, you know, really created something special for me. Now, the interesting thing about the album cover is that, you know, I was looking through old album covers and I found this album cover. And this is really kind of originally my idea of what I wanted the album cover to kind of resemble. Because, you know, like, for one, purple is my favorite color. And I wanted it to kind of have that old school vibe and old school feel. And I sent this to Illogic as well. And, you know, this is what he ended up coming up with. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, dude's a crazy, crazy genius. But moving on. So in the process of creating these songs, you know, I had many beats that I had chosen and I had put aside for the creation of this album. And this beat playing right now is actually the original version to a song that was the original beat. It's not the song, but I originally made this beat for a song that was gonna feature my dude Superstition and my homie Blueprint. And it's called Canvas. And Blueprint and Superstition are featured on the record. And this was the original beat that I had chosen, that I made for it. But I thought it was too subdued, too calm. And, you know, I ended up choosing another beat. But, you know, getting to the point where I am releasing this record, it is super exciting. It's a dream come true. I'm already like three or four songs into my next record, which is also going to be produced by me. And, you know, like, the beats are, you know, on another level, and it's a different sound. Everything is different with the new record. So I'm already working there. But I just want to let everybody know that if you set your mind to something that you want to accomplish, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man, I listen to everything, you know? I listen to everything. But if you set your mind to something, you can accomplish it. If you put the work in, if you actually dedicate yourself to achieving what your goal is, you may not be the most talented person. You may not be, you know, the most gifted, but a lot of the people that are the best at certain things weren't always the most gifted. You know, even LeBron James works out harder than everybody else because he wants to continue to be the best. He was blessed with talent, but he continues to work harder than everybody else because he wants to be the best. That's, you know, Kobe did that. Jordan did that. And, you know, I wanted to take the time to really learn the craft of production in order to create something that I would deem special in a completely different way. And for me, you know, like, I know everybody loves Celestial Clockwork and a lot of my other works, but I believe that this new album is right on par with all of those records, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear it. So, without further ado, I told you I wasn't gonna be in front of y'all too long. I just wanted to, you know, kind of take you through some of the steps of getting to where I got with the album. And it took a lot of days, a lot of nights, you know, my wife being mad at me because I'm in the basement till, you know, 3 or 4 in the morning, looking at tutorials and trying to, you know, get this drum pattern to sound right and all that stuff. And it's really awesome that she allowed me, you know, even though she was mad at me a lot of times, that she allowed me to do that. So without further ado, the world premiere of Pickpocket from AutoPilot. Now, this song is, I wanted to give y'all something that wasn't heavy. because I knew I was going to be doing a lot of talking and, shit throughout this episode. But I wanted to give y'all some bars, you know what I'm saying? I let y'all know that, your boy still got it. You know what I'm saying? If I need to, slaughter a MC, in the battle sense, I still have the pen to do so. But as you can hear from the songs that didn't make the album, as well as the beats that didn't make the album, this album is going to be a nice plethora of different styles, a nice plethora of different things, and you're going to hear some things from me that you've never heard before. You're going to hear some styles from me that you've never heard before. You're going to hear me using my voice in ways you've never heard me use it before. So, this album is very well-rounded, and I believe that it stands up next to Celestial, Capture the Sun, all of those joints. So, without further ado, here's Pickpocket from AutoPilot.
As it fades, ignoring the signs, even the ones that say don't walk, cause hip rocket designed for clips and grenades. A devout skeptic questions find me comfort, trying to stand out among these mannequins as a mannequin. Decoding doubts, message lessons, usher wonder. We frame behavior as Vader without understanding Anakin. A complex man holding on to the simple things, diligently dicing the indignant for the fun. The ladies see the smile and they crown him the dimple king, insisting I give him a little rhythm of the drum. Even the greats pontificate fate's a foregone conclusion, and it's obvious you're using excuses. The only time truth intimidates is when justice is translucent. But I'ma keep moving, cause I don't plan on losing.
Let me explain something. Let's start it like this, son.
I don't fuck around.
Sorry, homeboy, but your flow sounds.
Yeah, outline the notions of this potion-wielding sorcerer, burrowing through traffic jams with battering rams and tonto blades, defiant to tyrants of this obstinate alliance, trying to be unengaged through a bloviated masquerade. See, self-reliance has been dying cause of trends, but I've been hell-bent on documenting the madness for the masses, berating the cautious through hard drive crashes, plus teaching classes on how to survive when the monarchy collapses. Dominant, delusional, prominent pacifist, musical masochist, and wonder why they're not moving you. Dining on consequences of the ludicrous with a side of foolishness. Then you got the nerve to rock a crucifix. Lost your usefulness, so unscrupulous is humorous. My job's devouring, not amusing you. Sorry if I'm losing you, I speak for the abandoned and I'm candid. Clashing with demigods is the way I planned it, damn it.
Lose! I don't lose! I win! I win! That's my job! That's what I do!
Yeah. So that was Pickpocket from AutoPilot. And the album will be available for pre-order next Friday. Let me know what you guys think about that joint. I was on mute. Yeah, a lot of people that told me have told me that, you know, the album definitely stands up with a lot of my other catalog, with all of my catalog, and you know, some of my friends have actually said that it's their favorite album of mine. So I'm really looking forward to you guys hearing it. Again, I thank you guys for sticking with me. I thank you guys for really being behind me this whole time, this whole journey. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you should be able to hear me now, Chad. But yeah, like, I really appreciate you guys, and I look forward to sharing this album with you. There will be multiple packages. I got t-shirts, I got purple vinyl, limited edition, 200 copies, so get them while they're hot. And yeah, man, we're going to do this thing. So yeah, AutoPilot 10/20/2020, and it's coming for you. It's coming for you. So I really appreciate it again, all you guys' support, and I hope that, you know, I think the album will live up to the expectations and maybe surpass some of them. You know what I'm saying? So really looking forward to it. And yeah, man, we got a lot of cool things happening. I'm going to be previewing a new song for AutoPilot pretty much almost every week leading up to the record. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you're locked in to Beats and B-Sides, because this will be the only place you can hear some of those songs. And I will do some breakdowns of certain songs as well, and some of the production. So keep it locked. Make sure you follow me on all my Instagrams and all that stuff. But yeah, make sure you follow me on all my socials so you can keep abreast. I'm going to be doing a remix contest of one of the songs. Going to be doing a lot of cool things with this campaign. So, you know, stay on top of it. And I really appreciate y'all checking me out tonight. This is Illogic signing off. Beats and B-Sides. We in there. All right, y'all. What up, Joe? All right, y'all. Peace.
What?